What? There we go. Oh, good. Okay, we took a small break. And I think we have new evidence or a new witness. Maybe. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So, after the ceremony during the break, huh? Were you napping? You were napping. Okay, I was sleeping like a log the entire time. Ooh. See, she could have easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Did you... Come on. Did you have an extra costume lying around, maybe? I made myself cough. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yeah. She is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was duds with Juan. Or buds, not duds. I didn't know what that meant for a minute. Buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time the trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. We've got to! We gotta get Maya her burger! Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? I'll try. Hey, Mia Forehead? You think our motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes, I sure do. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. Damn. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it. Miss Juan Corrida, the victim in this murder. And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Miss Corrida. Blah, blah. Why can I not read anything right now? Mr. Corrida. All to get the suicide note back. Hi, Suda. How are you? I'm at the end of this case, I think. We're figuring it out. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Who did tell us about their relationship? I don't remember, honestly. It's been a little bit, Mia? Understated Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impacts. It was Edgeworth, wasn't it? Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of the ship. Don't let your guard down yet. He's got more traps for us. We've already fallen into 2, or almost fallen into 2. Alright, we're at 2:25 p.m. We should be getting to the close of this soon, I think. The court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. It's Miss, Andrews, yeah? Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. There she is, still holding that card, weirdly enough. Still hasn't put it down. What's your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt on guard. I see, now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yeah, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. And would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, It was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. Never in my life. I just came up with that name. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. He would. He'd be so bad. He'd spill the beans instantly. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell... Oh, hey, thank you for following. Hold on. I'm not on the right thing. Suda. Thank you, Suda, for following. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like hanging out. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Kurita. Oh, she's just admitting. Okay, cool. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that a bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that? I'm sorry, but I kinda am. I kinda am, Edgeworth, I'm sorry. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. Don't call me out. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then, witness. Please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Are you ever gonna put down that card? It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. It felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a... You just sat there and poured yourself some juice? I thought you already had the juice and just sat it down. Okay, never mind. Where'd you get the juice from? That's what I'm saying. You poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that's when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Thank you. Phoenix, yeah? She's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yeah, I know. Am I a voice actor or something? No, I feel like I do a terrible job. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So, you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over, understand? Alright, what can we catch you on, huh? It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I think we're gonna press her on the last thing. Nothing else really seems to have a contradiction. What I saw, although we could press her on this, was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can catch you out on anything. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes. The one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes. It was open and empty, of course. Okay. So she's claiming it was open before she got there. And then, what did you do next, witness? I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Juice? Yes. There was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now, except she poured herself some juice and then didn't drink it. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. Okay. The only way you're gonna catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. I have to find something. I just have to, for Maya's sake. Yeah, we gotta get her out. We need Burger Maya. Okay, what evidence do we have right now? I can't remember. Picture taken in the hallway. Wait, I forgot about Lotta's photo. Right after... when? Right after the murder. Okay. We got the knife with the fingerprints. I don't think it'll be anything. Time of death is 8:15. Strangled with a scarf, stabbed with a knife. Got it. What can we grab her on? Ripped from his costume, covered in blood. We might just have to press her on a bunch of stuff. It bears her fingerprints. That's not a contradiction at all. There's Karida's fingerprints. I feel like we could get her on this, but... maybe it is this, actually. I don't know if it'll take it right now, though. Map of the hotel. I don't think anything else fits, really. Yeah, let's see. Let's press her on the stuff we haven't gotten yet, but... it might be the guitar case. And what was Mr. On Guard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. On Guard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? What are you...
Objection!
Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. On Guard's knife from his room? You gonna lurk? Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Have a good time at work. Hopefully it's a decent shift. No. Subject, verb, object, right? Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. After that, I went to Juan's room. Okay. I doubt this will give us anything. And why did you do that? Oh yeah, that might be helpful. As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Press further on that one. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon, what are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So, perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time. can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. Okay. So, it's insinuating that we need evidence there. You were in shock. The exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I thought maybe the guitar case here. But it's kind of insinuating I need an evidence for here. Okay. Right after the murder, he said it, they said he was asleep. Was her suicide note hidden? I feel like it's either the suicide report or this. And I'm kind of leaning towards this right now. Let's try this.
Objection!
Oh, no. This evidence clearly reveals... It really does not, Phoenix. I'm sorry. It does not. How exactly are the evidence and the statement just now related? They aren't. Yeah, I know. I figured it out when the music did not stop. After that, you went to Juan's room. What other... If it's not the suicide note thing, it being hidden... Don't know the article, but we've used this already. So I just don't know that it would be this. I'm not confident in this at all.
Objection!
They are not, no. Sometimes I get very confused at what they want from me. Hold on, let me save really quick in case I get a game over. The exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I was thinking it's gonna be this in the guitar case, so maybe I just go with this, what I first thought.
Objection!
No? How exactly are the evidence and the statement just now related? Well... Shit, no, cause... If his fingerprints are on it, yeah, it would be open when she got there. I thought of that weird, actually. That was entirely my bad. I thought about that a little bit backwards. Okay, I know, I fucked up. I don't know what you want from me right here. Sorry, Matt. You're going to jail, and Maya is, well... She's not getting any burgers. Okay. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over where it fell onto the guitar case. Okay, hold on. We have to present you the guitar case. It's got some water on it, but it's only on the top. So that doesn't make sense.
Objection!
You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly why... Oh, no. That's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However... If that was true, the case would have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. What do you think of that, huh? That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the case are scattered on the floor. Of the vase, not the case. Good lord! And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case.
Objection!
Yeah, what? What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? I mean, it's kind of important.
Objection!
No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
Objection!
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end, is it? The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. So... why did he bring the case, though? Huh? That may very well be. However... the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? No, it's gotta. My thought is... he brought something with him, we just don't know what it is. It seems that there's no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Yes! Absolutely, Your Honor. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either, but... alright, I'll follow along for now. Ms. Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. Let's see. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Were you looking for the note? It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Yeah, but did you know? As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Aha. I'm pressing you on that one. Looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Well, anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination, and then you'll see where I'm going with this, alright? Just hold on. Using anyway to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Stop flirting, Edgeworth. Okay. Let's press her on all of it, but... I think it's mostly the last part. I think it's gonna be why she was looking in the case, and it's gonna lead to her looking for the suicide note.
Hold it!
During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see... Are you sure you're the one who opened the guitar case? Do you know? You're not very convincing. She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Good. Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over.
Hold it!
So, you opened the guitar case then? Yes, well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Karida's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case.
Objection!
As the witnesses said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Yeah, but even dazed, you don't go looking through their stuff. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. Okay, odd. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Okay, yeah. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? I don't know, but... if the bright red guitar was taken, then... fair enough. The person who took it might have killed him. But, getting back on topic. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Yeah, but...
Hold it!
was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside.
Objection!
How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. My bad. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. This is the important part.
Hold it!
Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. Huh. I'm not gonna get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try. Okay. We're not gonna let up on her, don't worry, Mia. I wasn't planning on letting up, but... she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found. Okay. Alright. A bit dazed. Suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Okay. I need to save for a minute. Just in case I mess up. Don't have to go through all of that dialogue over again. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Let's see, what do we have? Empty. Only on top of the lid. There's Karida's fingerprints. Is it gonna be the case again since it's only got his fingerprints? And then that will lead into this, maybe? Because she's got gloves on right here if it's her? Maybe I'm jumping ahead on that one thing. Okay. Not a big deal though, that's alright. I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Okay, let's try the guitar case again. It makes sense to me.
Objection!
Yeah, okay. I was just a little ahead, I think. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on the guitar case are those of the victims. Yeah, were you wearing gloves or something, maybe? What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left fingerprints just because I touched the case. Oh, you're gonna be smug for all of 2 seconds with that one. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Perfect! Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the award ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Oh, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. Here's my question. Nothing strange about that, or that is strange? I assume we say that is strange, and then we present the photo, but... You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? No, I actually do not. So, we say it wasn't strange. I assume. Oh. Photo taken in the hallway. Juan's murder room. Scene. Okay. I think we messed up, and we need to say that it's not strange. But I think this is what we're gonna present. There you go, it's wrong, but... I think it's time for you to go home now, right? Me too. Before you hurt yourself, that is. Hurting myself. Come on now. It's alright, Mr. Wright. You don't have to push yourself so hard. Okay. Now, if the defense has no further objections, let's return to the testimony. Oh, I'm not gonna get boomed for that? Okay, perfect. Okay, nothing strange about that. I guess so. And I guess that makes sense. Burger Maya? Yeah, we gotta get Maya her burger. She's hungry. Huh. You're the epitome of a half-baked idea. Your brain is to be used, not to look pretty for med students carving cadavers. Looks like I need to bake my thoughts just a little longer. Oh. So, we do have to... I just found out what it was. I'm silly. It is strange and I do have evidence. I forgot for a second. I'm sorry. Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Yes, I do. This has your fingerprints on it, ma'am.
Take that!
I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Oh shit. Never mind, she has a backup pair. She's prepared. Order. Looks like you just hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it was really empty, though. But the guitar. The bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case that was not the bright red guitar? Hiya, Money, how are you? You don't mean it was the bright white guitar? Wait, no, that's not right either. No. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the cage... Oopsies.
Objection!
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us into his misguidance.
Objection!
No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. Is that Andrews? Yeah, Andrews is on the stand right now. Which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. You got the binoculars. Do you like Miss Andrews? She is kind of pretty. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case had some relation to the murder.
Objection!
If you're so sure, right? Then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? I'll try. Please enlighten us as to why the guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing. You don't mean to suggest that a No! Not at all, sir. So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Come make me, buddy. Now then, let's have it. Hold on. Oh shit, I wanted to say first. No! I gotta go back through all of that if I fuck up. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? She was looking for the suicide note. I don't know if this will get us through, though. Am I sure? Oh, shit. Maybe I'm not sure, money. Glossy photo Maya pushed on me. I'm not sure what else it would be if it wasn't the suicide note. Because that, supposedly, is her point for getting close to the guy. To see where the suicide note is, to try and get it back, hopefully. What else would be in the case? That's what I was trying to think of. I'm not really sure. I honestly have no clue. I've been thinking about what... An extra something? An extra something. With the eyes. Oh god, help. An extra something. I'm thinking it's a separate costume because I kind of thought that there were two at some point, but I don't know what to present to get there. Essentially. Ding ding ding, yeah. Do I present this picture? It's the only thing with another costume. I assume so. It's either this one or the poster that also shows the costume. Let's try this.
Take that!
This is a photograph. Thank you, money. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. Makes sense. I was wondering what the heck he brought in that stupid guitar case. Makes sense. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? I guess. What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. True. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a... Well, hold on, let me save. I just said I needed to save and I didn't, so before you pop something up, let me see. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Yeah? Exactly that one. Order! Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Objection!
Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Unguard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case, of all places. True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was the Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? It was a spare costume. His on guard was asleep in his the entire time. I'm kinda confident. Do I risk it? Yeah, spare costume. Mr. On guard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we're talking about was a spare one. What? Then are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, I am. Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the German ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? Well... And therein lies the sticking point.
Objection!
Oh no. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Maybe. Brain is off, but hey, I'm doing it. Huh? No. I just, Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai's spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? 1 second, Leo. Yes, I am. Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai's spare costume to the hotel was... to confess something in his name, pretty much. Yeah.
Take that!
What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yeah, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? Thank you, I'll take the compliment. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Unguard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yes. The spare nickel samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the nickel samurai. He was gonna dress up as the nickel samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I'm concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. Uh-oh. The nickel samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the nickel samurai, was going to speak about Matt on guard. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's a public disclosure. Okay, still. Miss Andrews, you alright there? I can see why you're pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was a setup by Juan. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, well, that was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the German Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. Well, okay. So when we brought up Miss Impax at the detention center, Matt was very serious, very suddenly like, hey, don't get into my business. Supposedly, Corrida took her suicide note. Was it Matt who was in the note and not Corrida? Interesting. Okay. What? Do you know what the secret of Mr. On Guard's is, Miss Andrews? That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. And that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. On Guard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Why were you protecting him? And that makes sense for why she killed Corrida then, too. Because if she would do anything for the person she's connected to, she would kill somebody for him. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing our true self. Oh, I forgot to turn my Skelly Mans on. I have no reminder to hydrate today. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. No, wait! Please, keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything is swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Okay, we should definitely press you on this. Why do you feel that? Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. I mean, they didn't teach you that test in school, at least not from what I remember. I didn't pay attention much, apparently. May I continue now? Sure, yeah. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, okay? But why? So would you say this need came from the press conference? He didn't know about it. Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? No. Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt on guard. And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Ungard himself didn't know anything about the press conference, and you did not tell him, so you know that. Oh, really? How else would he know? Can you show me any proof he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that his information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? No. Hold on. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. Okay, but what was it? Has Mr. Ungard done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Corrido with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ungard, yet you still helped out. What is it? Like, you're saying you were protecting Matt, and then you're doing this. So, what side of the fence are you on, ma'am?
Objection!
The person on trial right now is Mr. Ungard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan? It's none of our concern, but it is. But it is! In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder, okay? But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Ungard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Ungard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time. I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. Uh-oh. The judge is glaring straight at me. Oh. He's glaring at you, smart guy. No, he's glaring at you. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. And then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. You two? I'm doing my best. Thank goodness me, it can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to the testimony. That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. Okay, hold on though. That's contradictory to everything. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time.
Objection!
Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ungard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Ungard as much damage as she possibly could, which 100% leads me to believe he had something to do with Impax's suicide. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant.
Objection!
This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour, but what if it was? It'd be great, right? And please, stop slandering the witness. As expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me, it sounded a little wishy-washy. Yeah, me too. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now. But you'll need strong evidence, yeah, I know. I got it. I'm gonna pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Okay. I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. I knew what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. Could I get anything on this? Kinda feel like no, but we'll come back to it. He didn't have an alibi. What else got added? That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. Here it is. Strangled with a scarf and then stabbed with a knife. Should I present this here? Hold on one second. I hear something in my living room and nobody else is supposed to be here right now. So one second. Might be my cat. Never mind, somebody is here. Cool. I have a feeling that it is this. Because he was strangled with a scarf and then stabbed. Actually, where's the crime scene? There it is. I know that Matt said that it got taken off earlier, but we don't have anything to prove that, I don't think.
Objection!
Let's see. Ooh. This is the victim's autopsy report. I was convinced that was gonna be wrong. Oh, okay. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by scarf. Nice one, thank you, thank you. Strangulation. The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. Yeah. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means they didn't fight at that point. He was already dead. It's impossible that this button was turned off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Oh. Man, okay. I was almost certain that they would be like, that's a little vague, but alright. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. Oh! Okay. Order. Oh. What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? To frame on guard. If nothing else. We now know this button was not turned off. Why can I say torn? It was not torn off during the fight. So, the murderer took the time and effort to purposefully rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean? Does this mean you know the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? To have a memento of the crime, to pin the crime on guard, and to destroy the evidence. Well, it's to pin the crime on guard, but I do need to save before I completely forget. Pin the crime on guard, sir. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. It's looking good for Maya right now. There's no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. Unless they're just weird like that, but that's right, Mr. On Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. Are we ever gonna mention about the killer who's kidnapped Maya? I know we're not supposed to yet, but I hope at the end we do. And the real murder is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Well, finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. I know, we've got a little ways. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard is, well, it is Windy Old Bag, sir. I just really want her to get put in jail. It's Adrian Andrews, sir.
Take that!
Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You are Mr. Karita's killer. You're a Pokemon, ma'am. You got another pair in there? Order. Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. She does! How many pairs of glasses do you own? How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then, what about this knife? A knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. 3 pairs down. Let's see how many she has. And then... oh, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. On Guard was the real killer, there's no way he would put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. True, he isn't that stupid. 4 down, let's see. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. On Guard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which is you. Yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? Well, Your Honor, that's also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. Are you getting rid of your glasses again? No? Oh, you're just gonna cry? I'm sorry. No,
Objection!
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any fingerprints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. Okay, do we have it? But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. Oh, 5 down. And to top it all off, there was this photo. Thank God for Lada. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. Too short. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? How tall are you? I got her this time. Are we sure, though? Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Oh, yes, but... you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. Okay, but somebody get a yardstick, cause we can measure it ourselves. By allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. But... pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. On Guard's room... Adrian Andrews? Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Think hard... oh, wait. Understood? Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. Damn it, Francisco! She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? That's alright. Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? Not so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. How? How? Everything you've proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You've yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Carita. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Carita? I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia? What should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we've reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into the... Nuh-uh. But Maya! And at tomorrow's trial... Oh my god. Maya's gonna die, Judge, stop! Tomorrow... We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Hold on. Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth? I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... Yes! Yeah! He pinged it. He said, huh? But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Objection!
Oh. Edgeworth, please. It's not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you? It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews? Uh-oh. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually, when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. Shaken, not stirred. So smug. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your action, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Mr. Andrews, if you please. Alright, OG. Here we go again. What can we do? That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, I thought he was dead. The thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Sus as fuck, ma'am. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim? Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth. What the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Thank you, Aji. Okay, the glass of juice, didn't really pour it for myself. Weird, ma'am. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then, who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, alright? Be quiet and listen. No! I'm pressing you on everything. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm pressing on everything. I don't care what you say. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. So, it was a mess? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Carino?
Objection!
I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory, however... Before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. Slumped over? Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Yes, it did. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. Are you sure? Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. And then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. In that weird position? Anyways, that's what I thought. I see, so you didn't think he was dead at all. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice.
Hold it!
You thought he fainted? Mm-hmm. I thought he was asleep at first. But then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice? Yes, he always has a hard time waking up. Interesting, you know that. So, Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. And after that, what happened next? When I realized he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Okay, we shouldn't get much from this, but... And how did you come to realize that he was in fact dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards. And knocked the flower vase over, so that's what happened. Yes. This is what it all comes down to. This is the absolute end for both sides, but Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? It's Andrews. Will you tell us the truth this time? Doubt it. Okay. So... We said something of note about her not believing that he was dead at first, and... not the guide map. This one? The crime photo, though. How would she not know that he was dead? He's got a knife in him, and he's kind of bloody. Even if this blood isn't enough to see from way over across the room, she would know before she shook him that he was dead. Not just sleeping. So, it's gonna be... He was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. The question here is, where do I present it? To be honest, he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. You might want to save? Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Cause it honestly, to me... Also, hiya Papaya, how have you been? It could be either three of these. Hiya. He was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. This is something, when we pressed it, we noted on. And we didn't really note on any of the other ones. So is it this one? I feel like I would choose this one if it wasn't for that little note that we made when we pressed the first one. I don't know. I still kind of feel like it's this one. I'm going with this. It feels right. It might not be, but this is the photo, right? Yeah. It feels right to me, so this is where I'm doing it. The music stopped? So, you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body, oh, I'm glad that I went with my instinct. What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that he was a dead man. That here was a dead man, my bad. That's... well, you see... I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is... Ms. Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. Oh. 6 pair of glasses. Will she get to double digits? And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. You forgot you have my phone? Hello, welcome back. No. Oh, thank God for Edgeworth. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ungard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. You're digging yourself a hole. Then there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ungard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Well then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ungard. Oh no, are we gonna object?
Objection!
Wait, wasn't us. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. She has, but... The absolute real truth? What are you... Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head. But as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ungard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. Oh shit. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. Oh shit. Is she being blackmailed too? Oh, wait. Okay. It's Franziska von Karma. Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of others. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Ungard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Can we get Franziska in here? Hello? But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That's my only priority. I don't know, Edgeworth knows something. It wasn't me. I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please. Someone help me. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this, therefore I'd like to hear what you intend to do. Oh. Thought you were calling me? You almost got your name? What? No way, that's crazy. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right? I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? Hold on, let's say if we're getting to a point where we're gonna have to make a decision. There's no one else it could be except the woman crying right over there, right? Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Wright? They're guilty, Your Honor. I don't... Request not guilty verdict. Force Andrews to testify. The not guilty verdict is for, Matt on guard, yeah? So... Listen. We had a little cutscene at some point where Maya might have gotten out. We gotta force her to testify. You don't know, but you want to call somebody guilty? That's fine. I don't think she's guilty right now. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But... I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. All guilty, everyone? I don't know. Miss Andrews, I'd like to know what you're really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. On Guard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want to end the trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. Oh. What a shame. Where are we going with this? I had hoped things would come to this. Would not come to this, however... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Yeah, Edgeworth is back. Gonna be an absolute madman? Yes, he is. That's just what he does. I missed him. I like him. It falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, he's gonna... Oh, no. He's gonna... I thought that he would say at some... Or we would have to say at some point, but I think he's gonna say it. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop. Please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it is no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please, please stop! I beg you. If people find out, I'll... He does not care. Damn, cold as ice. If you're gonna say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Adrian, how can you be so cold? However, before you die... God damn! I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. He really is the maddest of madmen. I'll talk, but please, help me. I'll try. Nothing matters anymore. Oh. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. Stab the body with the knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. Bruh. What do you mean by all this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. Okay. How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? No. It went that way for a minute, but... Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. Alright, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought, I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged piece of evidence were the knife and the button. Guilty, you knew it? Yeah, she's a little guilty. Her and Matt are both guilty. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. I don't feel like this will give me anything because it'll just lead to this.
Hold it!
So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So, you thought to rip off one of the buttons and then plant it in Mr. Ungod's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Everyone's guilty to you. You'd be a horrible judge, Suda. Let's see. Just when I finished and was returning, I had a bit of an inconvenience. We know that this was Lotta, but... An inconvenience, huh? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. Oh no! Even worse! Double trouble! That's Miss Oldbag for ya. You don't want to run into her. I'd rather run into Lotta. I'd already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once. So I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is this secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I don't want to concede, but this testimony, it rings of the truth. I'm sorry, Phoenix. No. Please don't apologize to me. We were both taken by surprise. Still, I'm sorry. Okay. We pressed on that. Made it at... we'll press it just in case. Just in case it's one of those things where you press everything. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. Okay. Had a bit of an inconvenience, we pressed it. And we pressed that. Okay. Man, what do we use for any of this? Or have I not pressed everything? I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Don't think we pressed this. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is a part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice. Oh, it was one of those. Okay, good. I think we've heard enough. For a moment, I feared you failed to notice we missed one. I almost did, yeah. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Ungod's room and planted the button. Into Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then, I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. Nobody noticed that? Wow. My word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt on guard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? Come on, Francisca. Be better. Don't be like your dad. She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I had just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. Still have no idea what's going on? I think we're going back to making Matt guilty, and we're gonna have to choose between him being guilty or getting him off the hook to save Maya. I think we're gonna be in a tricky situation soon. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right? Yeah? It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. She still kind of stabbed a body and stuff, so I think she's in a little trouble, but... Yeah, Matt's guilty, she's a little guilty. I mean, we have a guy that's the killer that's kidnapped Maya. You might be right, everybody's guilty. You and Snakey kind of called it without knowing. The cross-examen of the witness is over, and so is today's trial. If you couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit, please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Well... Damn. That Campbell slam was extra hefty today. The judge was ready to get out of here. On the bright side, we only have one more day.